I will walk over there with my loud computer and my cheat sheet about what we were going to do today. And let us start at the top of the mat. And actually, I don't know what way you have your camera facing. So your top of mat might not be top of mat for now. We're going to just do a little pranayama. So let's bring the fingers to interlace, forearms together. We're going to tuck the knuckles right under the chin. And just stay here for a moment and see if you can press your chin down into your knuckles. Still drawing the belly in and up so you're not letting this position change your posture at all. And the next inhale, we'll lift the elbows up super high. Shrug the shoulders up toward your ears, and your palms will separate. You'll get this great stretch through your fingers. On the exhale, squeeze your hands together. Let your knuckles push your head back so that you can bring your forearms together out in front of you. Inhale to drop the chin, lift the elbows up. Exhale, bring the palms together. The head will move back. Just do this at your own pace. Keep the elbows as high as you can throughout the whole thing. The butt is engaged so that you don't feel like you're hurting your back or wobbling too much. You're stable. And the next time that your elbows are high, just keep your head in the neutral spot and release your grip. Shake it out. Come to the top of your mat if you're not there already. Inhale. And fold forward, exhale. Inhale halfway up. My hamstrings are sore from yesterday. And step or jump back. Chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Stay here for a few breaths. Pedal it out, whatever you might need to loosen. Let's walk the feet forward. We'll come through a squat and sit. Cross the legs however you want. Reach up on the inhale. Interlace your fingers up to the ceiling. And fold over, or I should say side bend over to one side. Come through center for your inhale. And over to the other side for your exhale. So keep your arms straight. Keep pushing through the wrists. Inhale through center. And keep both sitting bones down. So as you go to the side, the opposite hip, you have to press down with more intention. And over to that second side. This is just for our obliques. And through center so that you can release your hands. And let's just cross the ankles, press to downward dog, where you already have been. From there, heels up on your inhale. Bend your knees for the exhale and step or jump feet to hands. Inhale when you get there. Hold, exhale. Rise up. Inhale. Let's just fold again for the exhale. Halfway up for the inhale. Step or jump chaturanga for your exhale. Upward facing for your inhale. Downward facing for your exhale. Stay here and breathe. Draw the belly in. Again, let's walk the feet forward. We'll come through our squat to sit. And I just turn to face you when I sit, but you can just stay right where you are. Cross with the other shin in front or on top so that you're balancing out your legs. We'll just leave our fingertips light on the floor, one arm up and over. The bottom hand will just slide out a little bit. Inhale through center and change hands. Exhale that one down, inhale the other one up. Side bend, don't let the hip lift. Inhale, so we're rising with the oblique straight. Exhale the arm down. Inhale the other arm up, over to the side. That bottom hand is not really weight bearing. Inhale and exhale. Last time, last side. This is just so that we start to work on the stretch, but also how do we come up from that? So we have to crunch that oblique. We'll lower the hands and just step to downward dog. Heels up high for an inhale. Bend the knees. Exhale, look forward, jump forward. Inhale to straighten the legs. Fold, exhale. Rise up, inhale. Fold again, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Step or jump, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Let's reach our right hand for our left ankle. If you can't get to the ankle, no problem. Just hold something along your left leg. Keep your left arm straight. You can look under your armpit. Switch hands. Anchor through your heels. It's actually nice feedback. If you're holding higher up on your leg, you can push your leg back into your hand. Good mind trick to get your legs straighter. Let's lower the left hand. Both heels up high, inhale. Bend the knees, exhale, look forward and jump. Inhale when you get there. Fold, exhale. Let's bend the knees for Koundinyasana. Inhale. Just a light twist to the right, hook your left elbow. Exhale. We'll do this over time. Inhale through straight Koundinyasana. And twist the other way, exhale. Just notice where your starting point is. Untwist, inhale. And let's lower to our butts through a squat and lift the legs so that the shins are roughly parallel to the floor. Let's bring the hands together and over to one side. So there's just a bit of a twist involved. Maybe you bring your shoulders and knees a little closer together and then head over to the other side. Try not to let the feet drop too much. It's really tempting to have the feet heavy. Twist a little bit more. High route. And then let's untwist. We'll come into Koundinyasana again, any way you want. I'm just going to lean forward until my butt lifts. And then our arms up. Let's fold as we exhale, straight legs. Inhale, halfway up. Step or jump, chaturanga. Exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right leg up high, inhale. Let's touch the right knee to the left elbow. Exhale. Leg up high again, inhale. And bring the leg forward again, same thing, knee to elbow, exhale. Inhale, reach up. This time we'll land our knee near our left wrist. Swing your right hip forward. We'll set up for swastikasana. Bend the left leg so your knees and hips are 90 degrees. Left forearm parallel to the top of the mat. And just gently twist yourself a little bit more. Often we do this pose way later in class. So just see how it goes. There's no rule that said it had to come later. So if you've never tried it early in your practice, now you know what that feels like. Okay, so to get out of this, we'll just untwist the bit, place the hand.
Wait, it's in page 29 of the Ashtanga rule book. You can't do it this early.
Ah, yeah, but the rule book is no longer, because this is not technically Ashtanga. This is more of an improv. I could do whatever I want. Okay, from downward dog, we'll just do the other side. Left knee to right elbow. And then step back. And again. So we're using the obliques again. When we go to the arm balance, we don't want to just rely on like any invisible anti-gravity force. Let's bring our knee all the way to the wrist, hip forward, arrange your legs so that it's comfortable. Right forearm in front, left hand near the right hand. So you got a push-pull going on. Push with your left, pull with your right. Belly in. Okay, let's unravel. Step back, vinyasa. From downward dog, lift your right leg up high, inhale. Step forward to the hands, exhale. Simple twist. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale to untwist, lower the back knee, and just bring your left heel closer to your butt. So you're just bending the knee. Extend it out again. We'll repeat. Simple twist, the back leg straight. Untwist, the hand and knee come down. Squeeze your heel in toward your butt. And extend it back. One more time. I don't know why I'm making us do this because my hamstrings are already sore. Okay. So that last time we'll just step back, either down dog or breathe through your movement. And we'll try the other side. Left leg high, inhale. Step forward, exhale. Simple twist, left arm up, inhale. Untwist, exhale, lower the back knee. Squeeze the heel, inhale. Lower the ball of the foot, exhale, and twist for your inhale. Untwist, knee comes down. Squeeze it in as close as you can. Extend it out. As you're twisting, press your right heel back. It'll feel so good. Lower the knee. Squeeze the heel in, and then extend, step back, vinyasa. Okay, from downward dog, inhale forward to plank, exhale down to the belly. We'll bring our arms into cactus so that our elbows are just in line with the shoulders. Let's keep our legs and pelvis down. Just lift your arms. Keep your chest down also for the moment. And lower your arms. Lift your arms again. We'll try to keep the elbows as high as the hands. And lower your forearms. Again, arms up. This time, let your chest follow. So the arms are rising. The shoulders and chest are following. The pubic bone is pushing down. And the belly button is drawing in. Remember this, we'll build on this a few times. The gaze is down the nose, even though your throat is open like this. Okay, let's stay lifted. Just place your hands by your shoulders. Tuck the toes so that you can propel yourself into upward facing dog. Exhale for downward facing dog. Right leg high, inhale. Step to the hands. Exhale. Warrior one or high lunge. Inhale. Let's twist. You can keep your back heel down if you want. Open up the arms. Inhale. It will just be a little less of a twist. And open up the arms again. We do this often with our back heel up. And then when we twist, we bend the back knee. So if you're trying it now with your heel down, just notice how different it is. So let's reach up again. This time lower the fingertips, lower the back knee, bring the hands inside of your foot. Hug your knee to your right shoulder, and if you can, come to your elbows. Keep hugging your knee toward your shoulder as best you can. See what that feels like. Lift the back knee, see what changes, see if you can scissor your legs together to get your hips a little higher. Okay, return to the palms, step back. Vinyasa or downward dog. We get to do it on the other side. We'll lift the left leg up high, inhale. Step forward to the hands, exhale. High lunge or warrior, inhale. Twist, open up the arms. Look back if you can, exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, reach up. And we'll lower the fingers down. The back knee down, hands to the big toe side of the foot. Make sure this is comfy. It's pretty easy right now to get the shoulder to touch the inner knee. Let's see if we can come down to the elbows and keep that happening. Very challenging all of a sudden. It helps us think about the ball of the left foot more. When you can, lift your back knee. See if the scissoring action helps at all. A lot of weight pressing down through that left foot. Straight down. Okay, return to the palms. Step back. Vinyasa. We'll build upon that Salabhasana type feeling. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale to come down to the belly. So start with the arms the same as what we had. Again, lift the forearms up, lift the chest and shoulders up. And if it feels okay for you, lift the legs. If you have no back pain, squeeze your feet together. Maybe even extend your arms straight. So it's a bit of a Superman type scenario. If this is going well, start to swim. So a little flutter kick in the legs and alternating the knuckles, rising and lowering. This will help us anchor through the pubic bone a little bit more. Okay, lower the legs, curl the toes, hands by the shoulders, upward facing dog on your inhale, downward facing dog on your exhale. Oh Lordy. Just repeatedly killing my hamstrings. That was hard. Okay, right foot forward between the hands. High lunge with the inhale so that we can set up for warrior two. Exhale. Koundinyasana. Let's place for today our right hand on the big toe side of the foot. And you could be fingertips or block or palm flat. We'll get that left arm to stretch out over the ear. So now we have roughly a straight line from back foot to top hand. Try to bring the left ribs a little bit further back so that it feels like your chest is going to start to face the ceiling one of these days. Okay, we'll lower that left hand down, lower the left knee down, and bring the heel in toward your butt like you did before. This time, reach your right hand back, grab hold of the foot, and pull it in toward you. You could be on your palm or your elbow. You can have your right knee in or your foot and knee spun out. Just take another breath or two. Okay, let that go. Step back, vinyasa or downward dog. From downward dog, we come into the left side partial Koundinyasana. The left leg will lift and step forward. The high lunge just helps you sometimes space out the feet. But when you come to your warrior two stance, if your feet are not where you want it, just move them around. Sometimes I also have to move my pants around. Okay, Left hand to the big toe side of the foot, right arm over the ear. On the first side, I was on my fingertips. You probably couldn't see because my leg blocking the view. But this side, I feel like going to palm. So you just reassess always. Even midway through the pose, you might need to reassess. Bring the right arm back, the right shoulder back, the ribs back. Okay, we'll lower the fingers, lower the right knee, and bring the heel in toward you. This is just by squeezing your hamstring muscle. When you can, reach back. If your foot is too far away, you might hold a strap. It's a little difficult sometimes to rope up the foot. Make a choice, hand or elbow. Front foot either parallel to top of mat or turned out. Okay, let's slowly get out of there. Step back, vinyasa. Let's walk the hands back to the feet. And put a bend in your knees when you get close so that your chest can melt into your thighs. And reach for your first two fingers and thumbs to your big toes. And keep your chest and thighs connected. Just drop your head. Start to lift your butt up higher. But keep your chest and thighs connected. That might require you to lean forward just a smidge more than you're used to. Take one more breath. Maybe your legs are getting all the way straight, maybe they're not. Let's release the hands to the floor. Walk into downward dog again. Now the legs straighten. The heels push down to the best of their ability. Okay, right foot 3/4 of the way forward. Twisted triangle. Straighten that right leg. For today, let's put the hand on the shin. Yesterday I said if you're choosing that, it's going to be hard for your balance. So today I'm sort of making you choose that. Your your right hand could either be on your hip or your sacrum or up to the ceiling. But with your left hand on your shin, you'll feel your little ankle muscles helping you balance. You'll feel the need to squeeze your thighs together more. Maybe the need to draw your belly in more so that you can maintain the twist. Okay, let's untwist. We'll just lean onto that right foot, lift the left leg up, reach the right arm up for Parvrita, Ardha Chandrasana, or squeeze your heel to your butt, find your foot, and kick. It becomes Parvrita, Ardha Chandrasana. Whether you're holding your foot or not, try to feel that right shoulder opening a bit, moving back. Okay, let go of the foot if you have it. Lower your right fingers down. Go into regular Ardha Chandrasana, hips open to the left. Notice how comfortable this is, the opening process. Let's turn it into triangle. We're going to try to maintain the comfort, even though now we have 2 feet on the floor, so it's a little more difficult to open. Still possible. Still we wait in that ball of right foot. Okay, let's unravel. Bend into that right knee. Just bring the left foot forward, squat or sit down, however you can sit down. Again, shins roughly parallel to the floor. Belly in. Let's just place the soles of the feet down and try to sit up a little bit more. Oy, difficult. Let's round back and roll down a few inches or a foot so that we feel like our pelvis is in this spiral, like our pubic bone is trying to touch the belly button. Anchor through your feet. And let's rise up again so that we can roll onto the sitting bones and try to sit tall. Good. Just one more time like that. So we have this C shape in the back. Come down as far as you can, knowing that you have to come up again. You can always hold on to the legs also if it feels like it's too much. Okay, rise up. At the top, lift the chest. Wait, okay, feet come together and a little closer so that you can rock yourself out of it and step back to vinyasa. Or somehow go to your downward dog. And we do all of this on the other side. Left foot 3/4 of the way forward for a twisted triangle with the right hand somewhere along the leg. Good. Try looking up. Maybe even looking a little past where your hand is. Does that change anything? Okay, untwist, shift the weight into the left foot, right leg up, left arm up when you can. Your right hand could be on the block. We'll either stay here or bend your top leg, heel by your butt, reach back, and kick. Good. And Carol, lean your top shoulder back a little more. Yes. I didn't know if it would be possible. But it is. Okay, if you're kicking with your foot, let that go again. Left fingers down, open the hips. Flex the right foot, reach the right arm up. This is so much easier than the twisted version. This feels like freedom in comparison. So keep that mentality even when we take it to triangle. Keep scooping that left hip under. My left hand can be anywhere. Okay, and let's lower right fingers. We'll step our back foot to meet our front foot and have a seat or get to your butt some other way. Okay, so this time we'll try to have just our tippy toes on the floor. And we'll bring our knees to our triceps. We're going to try to go to this spot every time we inhale. So we'll exhale to low boat, round the back, and we'll inhale to rise up, cinch it in. And just do this a few times. If your range is not quite making it happen, not really a huge deal. It's just to help us find this cinch-in feeling that will be quite important in a Bakasana or a tripod into Bakasana. Okay, the next time your knees are in, we'll just lower the feet, rock forward, or somehow get to your downward dog. This time, down dog B on the forearms. If you can, you'll have your palms flat with your hands in front of your wrists, which are in front of your elbows. But if that's too much, just interlace your fingers. Let's straighten the arms to downward dog, rock forward to plank, and lower down to your belly. I'm just going to close this window because there's only so much leaf blowing that I can listen to before I lose my cool. Okay. Salabhasana A. Arms by our sides, knuckles down, chest up, pelvis down, legs up. And instead of thinking up, think out. so that your toes point, it's like you're touching the wall behind you with your legs, the edge of the mat in front of you with your chest. Okay, place the hands, curl the toes, find your upward facing dog on your inhale, and your downward dog on your exhale. Okay, right foot forward. Lower the back knee so that we can come into a deep twist without a whole lot of balance issues. We'll unbend the front knee as we lift the left arm up. And then your exhale, it's like a little side bend, like what you did before. A side bend that dives into a twist. Palms together if possible. Back knee up if you want. Look up over that right shoulder. We're going to attempt to make it a little harder. We'll lower the back knee again. I need to redo this twist because it's not quite deep enough for what we're about to do. So if you're like me, roll the flesh of the thigh in a little more so you can hook higher. Then place your left hand down, right arm up. Feel free to stay there, or right hand back. Bring the foot toward you, so it's just like what you did before. Hello, hamstring. And find your foot back there. I know it's there. It's just a matter of grabbing it, and we'll pull it in. So you take your prayer twist lunge into whatever form you want. This would be the most gnarly of which we will attempt for now. Okay, let's get out of there and just step to downward dog. Shake everything out, make sure it all still works. Now let's try the other side. Left foot forward, right knee down. Reach the right arm up. The big psoas stretch just to reach up. So you could even just do that if you're avoiding twists for any reason. But when you're ready, prayer twist. When you're ready, back knee up. And we'll stay here for a few breaths before we try to make it any deeper. We want to make sure that we can breathe evenly. Our ribs can expand in all directions. Even when we come into hard poses, we don't want it to feel like the world is ending. Let's lower the right knee down. Deepen your twist if possible, so that your armpit is very close to your left thigh. Then that right hand can come down by your foot. It might need a block, or you might need to be on fingertips. Left arm up. Either stay there or bring your heel in and grab. Once you have the back foot, it's not that crazy, but the process of getting the foot can be tricky. Lassoing with the strap, I find difficult as well. So unless someone is there to hand you the strap, there's no way to make that part easy. Okay, let's slowly unravel, untwist, and vinyasa. Let's find our down dog B again. If you are able, we're going to land the elbows at the same time. So just bend your elbows like 2 inches. You can even stare at them. Make sure that they're facing down to the mat. They're squeezing in. Then go another inch, and then they land calmly. So really the thing that makes that difficult is that when we bend the elbows from down dog, we all want to poke our elbows out to the side, but that won't work. We need to point them down. Okay, let's come down to the knees. We'll straighten the arms. If you have any wrist issues, instead of palms flat, you might want to be like on fingertips or on ridge tops or on fists. I see people do a lot. That seems hard, but works for some. Okay, so we're just going to extend the right leg back and return it to tabletop. And then we'll do the other leg. So the key here is that our torso is not moving. And we did this yesterday, where we're trying to keep our belly drawing in, so it's not a cat-cow feeling. It's a neutral. And this comes from Pilates, and this has helped me so much in A, back pain, B, eating as many croissants as I want without seeing any effect. Okay, extend the right leg back. This time we'll stay like that. We'll start to lift it off the ground. If you feel this happen, your whole back bend, then you've gone too far. So just lift it to the point where you can. Reach your left arm out. And remember that feeling in Salabhasana, you weren't necessarily thinking up, you were thinking out. So add that to the equation. Reach a little further. Take one more breath, belly in. Okay, then lower the hand. We are about to take it into a back bend. We're going to come onto the left knee, and we're going to use the sole of the left foot to support the right leg. And depending on how long your shin is, you might be in a back bend here, you might not. But this support we're going to do later to help us approach chin stand. This is just one way to get used to the idea of having the leg up. So see if you can keep your leg there while you bring your left foot down again. And then lower the right knee. Let's try the other side. So left leg out, belly is in, back is neutral. When you can, you lift the leg up. If you want, you don't even have to lift it up. It's hard enough just to be in tabletop without sagging in the belly. So you just add as much challenge as you want. Maybe the right arm can reach out. Point the toes of the left foot. We will be doing more Salabhasana type things. So remember this reach feeling. Okay, bring the right hand down. Bend the right knee. Sole of foot to the left thigh as high up as you can get it. And now there is this bit element of back bend. And later we'll do this from our belly and it will be a much bigger back bend, but with the foot still supporting the leg. And it's just a nice way to put it in body memory. So keep the left leg there, lower the right foot down, and then lower the left knee. Okay, inhale to arch, downward dog, exhale. Okay, right foot forward for pigeon. And we'll slide that left leg back so that we can deepen our pigeon to an appropriate degree for today. It's a lot easier than trying to gauge where you want your foot initially. Right now, let's bring our fingers out to the side. We'll bend our elbows so our chest reaches toward our shin bone. It will feel like your arm bones and your upper back bones are the hanger. Your flesh is just the clothes. Keep drawing the belly in here. We'll rise up, swing that left leg around, and bring the sole of the right foot to the floor for Koundinyasana A. Right hand, you could just reach to your left foot if you want. That's a great way to help the fold. Or you can wrap your right arm around your shin bone. Link your hands near your hip. So you've probably noticed we're going back and forth a bit between back bends and forward bends. I know that that's a difficult thing to do, but it does inspire us to keep drawing the belly in more. Okay, let's untwist or unravel, I should say. Bring your left foot in. We'll go for baby Bakasana. So on the feet, we bring our knees and armpits close together. We'll lift the heels as we lower to the forearms and lift the toes as we rock onto the palms. So when all is said and done, only the forearms and hands are touching the floor. The head is up, the legs are up, the butt is up. When you've had enough of trying that, come on down to your feet again. Okay, and let's step to downward dog. Pigeon, side two, left leg forward. So that left foot will land somewhere, the left knee will land somewhere, but that doesn't mean it's the end of the pose. So the right leg can move forward and back. If I want it to be easy, I'll have my foot real close to the hip, or I should say easier, it's never easy. If I want it to be harder, I'll move my right leg back. And find your little clothesline situation. And while we're here, we're drawing the belly in. So that you can get mentally prepared. We're doing these preps to help us with the Bakasana to tripod transition that Miss Carol is close to getting on the regular. So far, she gets it sometimes. And when you get something sometimes, it's easy to obsess about it because you want to get it all the time. Okay, let's rise up and we'll swing the right leg around. And the way to getting things all the time is A, practice a lot, and B, not going to happen because you're human. So nothing is all the time. Okay, left hand forward, either to the right foot or wrap it around your shin. You're trying to get your armpit on your shin bone. And this is a great pose for Uddiyana Bandha. Okay, let's rise up. Undo your arms. We'll squat again, but this time we're going to take it to Bakasana instead of baby Bakasana. I don't know why the other thing is called baby Bakasana. It implies that it's easier, where in fact it's not. They're both hard for different reasons. So let's try to put, for now, our knees in our armpits, rock forward, and you'll notice probably the flesh of the arms makes it a little bit wiggly. Sometimes that's too much of a challenge to overcome, and you'll want to change it so your knees are outside your arms. Or sometimes it will inspire you to lift through your mid-back a little more and find a little more Uddiyana Bandha. Okay, let's lower to our squat again. And let's come to Swastikasana again. You can face any direction. I'm just going to I'll face the front of the mat. Why not? This time we're going to keep our legs straight, however. So Swastikasana, we have those 90-degree bends. Now we'll just have right leg out to the side, left leg behind us. But otherwise, the same twist scenario. And just see what this feels like with your legs straight. How's it going? Maybe flirt with getting your back leg off the ground a few inches. Back foot as well, not just the knee. Yes, literally the foot, Miss Lisa. There you go. She's like, wait, what? And Miss Lisa, get your whole left forearm down. Yes, then you can twist a little more. Okay, and let that go. And let's just roll ourselves around to the other side. So when you're in a Koundinyasana, there's this idea of your back leg having to lift, defy gravity. So we just practice that a little bit here. So we'll bring our right forearm down parallel to the left thigh. And first just deal with this twist aspect. The right hand is pulling, left hand is pushing to help revolve your ribs around. And if you want, you could start lifting the back leg. It doesn't make the twist any harder. It's just, the muscles of the leg are going to work. But when you go to a Koundinyasana, you got to keep your hips up and your legs up. Okay, let's get out of there. Swing yourself around. Oh, Lordy. You guys kill me. With your request, I mean, I kill me with what we have to do. Okay, so we're gonna take Bakasana to tripod. And then we'll come to child's pose. So when you're approaching your Bakasana, you're looking forward. You're trying to get your arms a little bit straighter, heels up. When you want to come down, bend your elbows quite a bit, place your head, and start to use your abdominals to lift your legs. You do not have to lift the legs all the way up. You might want to. We're going to meet in child's pose, which means we're going to bend our knees all the way into our chest and try to hover in this little ball for an extra moment before eventually we bring our shins down. Miss Bloom, that was a very quick descent. Okay. So let us do one little drill before we try to come up again from there. So let's be on our heels for a moment. I'm just back on the mat. So notice your weight is all the way in your heels. If your arms didn't reach forward, you'd probably fall onto your butt. But your arms are counterbalancing your butt. So everything in this is a counterbalance. Let's place the hands down. Lift your knees onto your arms to wherever you want. I'm going to go a little bit outside of the arms. We'll rock forward so that either one or both feet can lift. And let's try to straighten our arms as much as we can, which means we have to lean forward more. Then let's bring our feet down all the way to the heels, reach forward. So the weight will go all the way back here from our heels and all the way forward into our fingertips. Let's just do that a few times. Since you don't have to stay for very long with your arms moving towards straight, maybe you are inspired to see where is that edge. How far can you go into that spot? Okay. Good. So let's find double pigeon for a moment. Right leg on top. I'm just going to face you. And let's interlace the fingers and just do these little circles with your wrists. You go the other direction. Your wrists just sort of do quite a lot. Okay, shake that out and bring your chest toward your shin, just like you did earlier in pigeon. Belly in. So the Bakasana and tripod transitions, it does take a lot of core strength, but it also takes some flexibility in your back, which is why we're sticking these things in. Let's try the other leg on top. To open up your back, you also have to open up the hips. There's no way to really isolate too much. Let's bring our thumbs into our palms. Curl the other four fingers over. Forearms parallel to the floor, and turn the knuckles down, so that you get the stretch through the inside of the wrist. Okay, shake that out. Lean forward. Sometimes it helps to think of the flesh as clothing on a hanger, because A, it will relax more, and B, you will have maybe less attachment. I sometimes think of myself in the third person to help build the detachment. Okay, let's rise up. So we will attempt Bakasana to tripod to Bakasana. There's a lot of reasons this is hard. The most common thing is that when you get your head down, I'll just show you kind of what happens. You get your head down, everything's cool. You might get your head up for a moment and then your feet land because this is where your elbows went. So instead, you have to think of straightening your arms to send your elbows forward. So here's your balance. Bend the elbows, head down. You don't even have to lift your legs off your arms. You're gonna lift your head and reach chest forward. Woo, I fell out of it also, but the idea is chest forward, arms straight. So give it a try. I was showing you the example of nothing is guaranteed. And Carol, you might have to round your back more in your Bakasana because you're a little bit stiff. Good. So take your time finding the place where you want your knees to be and press straight down with your fingers, maybe even pull yourself forward. Okay. Maybe we'll try it again in 10 minutes. Let's meet in downward dog. And we'll rock forward to plank and come down to the belly. Walk the legs back just a little bit so that you have some more space in the hip flexors. Salabhasana B. Hands by the waist. Legs up. I'm trying to lift my legs up. It probably looks on your screen like they're barely up. And that's because they're barely up. I'm just trying to lift them up, but they don't go. Okay, and let's lower down. So we'll keep our hands anywhere that works for you for support. We're just going to bend the left leg and try to put the right thigh on the foot. So it's like what you did earlier from your tabletop position, and you'll get your right leg just as high as your left shin is long. And then let that go. And we'll try the other side. So the right knee will bend, so the foot will be your table in a moment. You'll have to rock a little bit to that right side so that you can get the leg up. You could also have towels or blankets under your chest to create more of a cushion, less of a bend for your neck. And let's come on down again. Inhale to either cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Anouk will be taking the recorded version of this class. So Anouk, at this time, pause and do that again. Okay. Let's bring the right leg forward, the left knee down, twisting, left arm up and around. We're going to do the cheaty version of Koundinyasana. So starting in your prayer twist, make sure the twist feels okay. If you have any issues, then stay there. When you can, you're going to put your hands down so that they actually face the long edge of your mat. This is the cheating version, but I want you to be super comfy there before we move on. So the hands are facing the long edge of the mat. I'm going to bring my right hip to my right elbow and literally tip over so that I can get my legs off the ground. And because my right hip is on my right elbow, this is pretty easy. Now I can think left leg up higher, legs out a little straighter. Stay there for one more moment. I want to watch. Miss Carol, what is going on over there? Okay, come on down and let's try the other side. Carol's cheating like I've never seen her cheat before. She's basically just standing there watching. Okay, left leg in front.
How could she?
If you don't want to do it, you gotta at least be in a twist. So right arm up and over. Take your time getting into the twist. Then the hands will come down and you'll lean. As you lean, you'll be moving your feet and knees a little bit to make it happen. And at some point, the weight shifts. And now you're just lifting your right leg up, extending your left leg out. Kind of like that swastikasana variation for that back leg. thought I wasn't gonna see. Okay, let's get out of there and let's just meet in downward dog. Okay, we're gonna, before we do another version of a twisted arm balance, I see we have to do another twist. Okay. Let's go tripod to Bakasana this time. So instead of starting in Bakasana, we're gonna just start in tripod. And then if you don't wanna go all the way up, instead of working on actually getting your head off the ground, you would work here instead. You would have your legs up, one would stay up, while the other comes and attempts to touch. So this will help you build some of that strength in the core to kind of crunch in. You might try that a lot of times. Eventually, both legs come up, or both legs come down, I should say. And we squeeze it all in so that we can look forward and keep our heels moving up toward our butt. Give it a whirl. And Carol, you probably know, but I can't see your foundation. I can see like your shoulders and yeah, there we go. Now I will yell at you even more. Since you are being so disobedient. Your tripod could be a little more pointy, Carol. Hands back a little more. Yeah. Good. Lisa, how'd it go? I was watching her cheat. Okay. Then Lisa, try it again. Because why not? Good. So it's a lot of core. You got to keep your heels pulling up toward your butt. Now look forward, squeeze your elbows together, squeeze your knees into your arms, and fight it. Straight arms. Oh, almost. It was close. Okay. Look forward, Lisa. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Okay, we're almost there. All right, let's meet in mayurasanas C. So right leg bends, left leg out straight. We'll twist to the right. Maybe we'll hook the arm. Maybe we'll bind around the leg. So we did Mayurasana A as a prep for the forward bend aspect of Bakasana. And then this Mayurasana C can help us prep for more difficult twists. These are both primary series poses. And they never get out of date. They're always relevant. Okay. Let's untwist. We'll turn this into Utkatasana. The feet will come together, butt up, knees together. We'll twist the same direction. So that left elbow is going to hook outside of the right leg. I think we can move on from the cheaty form, but if you don't agree with me, you would come to your squat by lifting the heels, put your hands down to the side, and bring your right hip to the right elbow. So that is a temporary fix. That is not the actual pose. If you want actual pose, your hands are going to come out to the side, facing front, facing the same way as your feet, so that when you shift your weight, your hip is between your forearms. Then your feet can come up, and then your legs can scissor open. Getting into the balance is a lot more difficult than scissoring the legs open. Once you're placed, you'll notice that the legs is not so hard. Lisa, back leg higher next time. Okay, let's vinyasa, and then we'll try the other side. And you'll notice that if your back leg is higher, it's easier to stay. And that is true for many balances. Let's come down to our butt again for Mayurasana C. Left heel is close to our sitting bone, and we hug the knee to the right shoulder. Or we hook, or we wrap. unravel. Utkatasana. Feet together, knees together. Twist to the left. Try to get pretty high up on your arm. The higher up, the easier it is. It's possible to do this when your elbow is just barely hooked. It's just harder. So that our fingers ideally face the same way as our toes. We shift the weight so that the feet can lift. And then we can extend the legs. We'll try to keep that right leg lifting up pretty high. But lean forward, just like you have to in Bakasana. The more you lean, the easier it is. Good. Okay. And let's come out of there, Vinyasa. So that was Koundinyasana. We approached it from a partial Bakasana. Of course, there's another Koundinyasana also, which we will get to do. Yay for A's and B's. Let's bring the right leg forward, left knee down, so it's like Anjane, simply, and make it into a long Anjaneyasana by creeping your left foot further back or your right foot further forward. Splits. I am sore from life, so I'm going to only go this far today. Once you go too far on things like hamstrings, you could be in for a year of recovery. So I always err on the side of less. We'll turn this into Koundinyasana C by dragging that right heel in again and setting up the legs like we're in a warrior two. Hands will come to the big toe side of the foot, belly in, and if you can, you'll start to dip your chest low, get your shoulder underneath your right knee, right hand out to the side for balance, left hand is going to hold your right ankle, left elbow can come to the floor for balance. Head can drop. I like to stare at my belly here, helps the belly draw in so that I feel a nice stretch in the back. Okay, let's unravel. We'll come up to normal hands and just step to plank. And let's play with this for a moment. We're going to bring our right knee to the right elbow and then step to plank again. One more time. And take it to downward dog. This is going to help us a bit with the momentum of it. Instead of knee to elbow, we're going to attempt inner thigh to tricep. So we have to come forward more. And then downward dog again. And we'll keep the right foot off the ground. So we're still squeezing our heel in. Good. Okay. Let that go. Left leg forward, Anjaneyasana. Into an eventual Hanumanasana. There are some schools of yoga philosophy that say you've probably gone through like 30 lifetimes in order to even have found yoga on this lifetime. And I love those kinds of concepts because then I don't feel rushed to get everything in this lifetime. Like this life, I'm not a mother. I have no desire to be a mother. I think I've been a mother before. So when people give me a hard time, I just say, I'm okay with it. We have many lifetimes for it. All right, let's start to bring it in again. And we did something fun. Oh yes, I know what we did. We did our Koundinyasana C. And this is normal Koundinyasana, the thing that you did earlier. I don't know why we call this C, because where's B? This is something that Tim has kind of named for us. Swastikasana is also something Tim has named for us. Drop the head if you can. Get that left shoulder as far under the leg as possible. Okay, come up to palms, let that go, step to plank. And twice we'll attempt to bring knee to elbow and step to plank again. This is a lot of core and hip flexor, I know. And find your downward dog so momentum can help you bring your left inner thigh to your left tricep. And it might be planky and it might be chaturanga. Either way is fine. Let's see where it can go. Good. Okay. Let's come down to the knees and just sit in toe crunch for a moment. If possible in toe crunch, you're going to have your heels all the way touching and then sit. It's a nice diagnostic tool because a lot of the time people are here with their heels out and they don't even know it. So just see, can you deal with what's going on? Let's take the arms to Gomukhasana. Right arm will reach up, palm facing back. Bend the elbow. Either hold your elbow with your left hand or reach your left arm behind the back. Let's press the head into the arm. The throat is open. Okay, let that go. Change arms. Okay, let that go. We're going to meet in down dog B. And in this down dog B, just walk your feet in as close to your elbows as you can without letting your head clunk into the ground and without inducing a state of panic and doom in your mind. Okay, and we'll straighten the arms for a normal downward dog. And we'll attempt Koundinyasana B. One of the nice ways into it is if you just step your right foot in front of your right hand. So you wind up in this really long lunge thing. I'm going to back up a bit because I can see that I'm kind of on the edge of the camera thing. So it imitates that Asana C. In that, we're going to try to bring our shoulder under the knee. And then that right leg will creep out. The left hip will drop toward the left elbow. And this back leg, I'm going to try to get up, 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 as high as I can. Chaturanga out of there. So give it a whirl if you have not already. Good. And you might want to stay in Asana C. You don't have to come into the arm balance. When you've done side one, then try side two. There's no rush. Carol, that was good. The back leg could get a little higher, but that was good. So creeping the front foot forward is a little tough, but once the foot's off the ground, you're just going to keep reaching it out. Lean forward like you do in your Bakasana so that your back leg can come up. Good. The higher the back leg comes up, the easier it's going to be to get into Chaturanga. Okay. I can tell you guys love this. All right. Let us come onto our bellies. Salabhasana C. We'll interlace the fingers. Pubic bone presses into the floor and lift the chest and shoulders up. Lift the legs if you want. My hamstrings are so tired, I really don't want to, but I'm going to try it anyway. Good. A little more reach with your hands is going to open the chest a lot. A little goes a long way. Okay, come on down. Hands under the shoulders. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. All right. Before we do any chin standy type things, let us just attempt a Pincha mayurasana in the way that we did it last week, where we have one foot on the inner knee. Let's see. So I'm going to have my toes touch the inside of the knee, and I'm going to slide it up. And the whole time my toe is touching the leg, then that leg gets straight so that the other one can bend. So there's always contact between the legs. So just try it. Give each leg the opportunity to bend. The slower you go, probably the easier it will be because you could make those minor adjustments. And this will help us learn about the midline a bunch, learn how the legs can work together because they're never on their own. Even in arm balancing, there's that sweet spot where you have to know what one leg is doing so the other can respond. So Carol, your top leg has to be a little stronger up, not so much over. Okay. So when you've done that to your liking, come on down. We will try that again. So even if it was not to your liking, that's fine. So either I'm going to give you just a reminder of what we did earlier. You're on your belly, your hands were helping balance, and you put a foot up onto the other knee. So if this is doable with no pain in your throat, in your back, then you will attempt chin stand the way that we're about to attempt it. There are a million ways in. This is just one. This is one of those things also where I've done this 1,000 times. But is it going to work today? We'll see. We'll see in just a moment. So here's that Koundinyasana pose that we did. I'm going to lift my back leg higher. Until my other leg could join me. I don't know what that looked like, but it felt like chin stand. So give it a try. It starts like what you've already done. It's just taking it to the extreme. And I'll show you one more time. So it's this back leg. Remember when you were in your Koundinyasana, you were lifting your back leg? So it's that same concept. Watch how high that back leg has to get in order for the front leg to start to lift. It's pretty fun that way because then you can always abort mission. There's not the whole commitment of chin stand. You're just innocently in an arm balance and you're just exploring what is that upper range. So Carol, try that Pincha thing again, and Lisa, try that arm balance again. And Melinda, I can't see you, so I don't know which thing you should try. Good, okay, so I'm starting to see where the lightness is. Okay.
So where should I be looking? More forward or towards my elbows?
For me personally, I look more by the elbows, but not quite elbows, more like forearms.
Okay.
If you look too far forward, it's still doable. It's just, where is your most comfortable balance?
Well, it seems to be kind of, yeah, in the middle, like more at the forearm.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to remember, you said to have my leg reach up, so that would be more like a Koundinyasana.
Well, but not really. You still reach up in the Pincha, But when you're reaching in Pincha, you're thinking about your wall. So the up is just get off the wall.
Okay.
It still is over, but it's not that far over.
Okay.
Because I don't know how many more months of quarantine we have, but that's when your wall goes away. So, you know, we gotta get off it. All right, so let's all join Carol's mission here of balancing in Pincha. So if it serves you to work your knees like that, by all means do that. Another thing that's fun to practice up there is separating the legs. So first I would come up. I would have to be able to balance first in order to do this. And then I'd open the legs to about max width and then close them again. And I'm looking at this moment between my wrists. And maybe I'd open them a little further, just playing with what is possible. But to do that, the balance has to be there. So really, as soon as you get comfortable in one thing, I'm just going to throw another thing at you. So enjoy where you are. Good. Now squeeze with your thumbs, Carol. Push your thumbs into the floor. Think about your thumb and pointer finger squeezing and pushing down. Hey now. Hey now. Okay. So it was Carol's thumb that had been cheating all this time. Now we have no problems. All right, let's come onto our backs. And we'll just lift into a Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. So we're going to keep our shoulders on the floor. We'll interlace our fingers under the back. And we'll try to lift our hips pretty high. And think about your feet here. They're pushing down. And it's like your heels are tractioning back toward your shoulders so that your knees are reaching forward. And then you're going to feel your hamstrings and glutes work like crazy, which in turn will stretch your quads and hip flexors, which is the essence of a back bend. Let's come down and land our butt on our forearms. So we're just stuck in this chest opener, very innocent. We don't have to do any work here. Let's come up again. See if you can establish the strength again in the glutes and the hamstrings. And keeping your legs that strong, separate your hands. Place your hands by your shoulders the way you would for Urdhva Dhanurasana. And you don't have to come into Urdhva Dhanurasana, but make sure your elbows are pointing up regardless. Stay here for one more breath. We're still on our shoulders. And then come on down to your back. And by now you should be feeling your butt and your hamstrings a bunch. It should feel a little bit fatigued. Okay, we'll check that our elbows are still pointing up. So that means that you have to squeeze them in. Let's lift our hips up again. Same idea of tractioning the feet back, reaching the knees forward. Either stay here or come up to Urdhva Dhanurasana. Whether you come up or not, you know where your elbows are. Your legs are working. Slowly come down. And let's just roll onto one side so that we can sit up. And we'll stretch the legs out in front of us. With straight legs, you could sit on something if you want. Holy, this window is bright. Okay, arms out to the side. We'll inhale. We'll twist right without letting our legs or hips move. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale through center. And again to the right. This is a really nice thing to do with your feet on the wall, if you ever feel like playing with that, because then you'll see how your body is trying to shift if you don't pay attention to it. One more each direction. This is really just helpful for the obliques and that whole core connection. Okay, Bakasana with cat-cow. And the whole time in this class, we've been going back and forth between forward bends and back bends. Because things like Koundinyasana require you to be able to forward bend so that you can get your arm under your leg. But then we took that back leg up high, high, high into chin stand, which is a back bend. So I'm going to turn you loose now for 2 minutes. You can either work on Pincha mayurasana or chin stand or Koundinyasana. We did the one with the twist and the one with the split. So I'm just going to watch you and comment if I can to help you deepen whatever you choose to do. If you do not feel like being in a forward bend or a back bend, I recommend Asana A, fingers interlace, and a headstand, just straight up and down headstand. And then you're neutral, and then you don't have to deal with forward bending or back bending. It's a lot easier to turn you loose for these few minutes when we're in a room together, because then I can actually move you around. But Carol might have just had her breakthrough moment. The breakthrough was like 10 minutes ago, and now it's just there. I'm so happy I could cry. Carol found her thumbs and Pincha. I'm going to make a t-shirt. And now, Carol, you can start playing with that toe on the leg, all kinds of things. But your thumbs do have to be in your attention. Good. All right. So whenever you finish your thing, there is no rush. We're going to meet sitting. And we will attempt lotus, but that's not for everyone. So if you do want lotus, right leg, heel to belly button, foot to hip crease, right knee to the floor. So all those things kind of have to be before you deal with your second leg. If your knee is floating in space, just put your foot under it, or even a block and a foot. If your knee can touch, then your left leg can come over. We don't want your knee to hurt just to get it to lotus. That would be pointless. So sitting somehow comfortably. One of the reasons folks back in the day did lotus all the time was they would sit for, 12 hours. If you nod off and you take a little nap, you're pretty stable, so you're not going to fall over. Okay, so if you're in lotus, your left hand is going to reach around. You're going to hold your toes of it's your left foot, but it's on your right side. Then your right hand will come around. If you are not in lotus, reach behind you and hold opposite elbows. Let's start to fold forward, but we're going to do it with some intention in Uddiyana Bandha. So as you're folding forward, draw your belly button in, and you're going to feel your mid-back press into your forearms. And in a way, the forearms can be a little massage for you. You just drop the head some amount. You could always have a bolster or a block to catch you. Let's rise up. Utputtihi. Hands under the thighs. So in the Ashtanga practice, this is how we end, so that you're very tense in all of your muscles in this pose. You're working to push down through your hands to help get your butt up. Your knees are drawing up toward your shoulders. Hello, hips. Hello, abs. We'll just stay for a few more breaths. And the idea is that you're so tense right now that you're really going to welcome that shavasana. Let's lower our butts down, unravel your legs, and either vinyasa or take a final stretch that you might need, or lay back and rest. Jai Sri Ram, Jai Jai Hanuman. 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 Jaya Bajranga Bali, Baba Hanuman. Jaya Bajranga Bali, Jai Hanuman. Sangata Mochana Kripanidam. Sangata Mochana Kripanidam. Jai Sri Ram, Jai Jai Hanuman. 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 Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai. Kripa Karao Gurudeva Vinay. Sangata Mochana Kripanidam. La 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 gota la la nisha. Hare Ram 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 Sita Ram Ram Ram. Hare Ram 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 Sita Ram Ram. Hare Ram Ram Sita Ram Ram. breaths here. See what it feels like if, as you wiggle and rise up, you start to think of yourself in the third person. And here you are in this life, this body that has your name and your identity, your personality, and your visual appearance. This thing that you are inhabiting is starting to wiggle fingers and toes and rise up and sit. This thing that you are inhabiting is breathing. There's many aspects of life that we can serve ourselves better if we get out of our own way. So maybe that distance with third person can help in some aspects. Let's bring the hands together. Thumbs up to the third eye between the brows. Hold forward any amount. Namaste. Thanks, y'all. I'm going to walk across the room and grab the phone.